Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture of Geotechnical Engineering. This is Sukamal Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JS Group. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about Rankine's lateral earth pressure theory. So first, let us discuss about the assumptions that are made by Rankine in his lateral earth pressure theory. So Rankine assumed that the backfill soil is cohesionless. It means the Rankine's lateral earth pressure theory is only applicable to the cohesionless soil. It is not applicable to the cohesive soil. So let me write it here. Rankine's theory is not applicable to the cohesive soil. Okay. Apart from that, Rankine also assumed that the soil is homogeneous, isotropic and semi-infinite. Okay. So what is this semi-infinite? By this semi-infinite term, Rankine wants to mean that soil is infinite in lateral direction and finite in longitudinal direction. Okay. Now the second assumption that made by Rankine was the wall is straight and vertical, means the retaining structure wall has to be straight and the vertical, and only if this Rankine earth pressure theory will be applicable to that. Now the surface of the wall should be smooth. Okay. Now by assuming this smooth surface or smooth wall surface, Rankine neglected the friction between the wall and the soil. Now the backfill surface is plane. Okay. It can be inclined but it should be plane. Okay. See, it means, suppose this is the sheet pile and this is the surface of the backfill. Okay. So this surface should be plane. Okay. It can also be inclined. Okay. Suppose this is the sheet pile. Now this surface of backfill can be inclined also in this way, but the surface need to be plane. Okay. It cannot be like that. Suppose this is the sheet pile. Okay. Now the surface cannot be like this. See, this is not a plane surface. It is not a plane surface. Okay. So Rankine didn't assume this kind of surface of the backfill. Rankine assumed the surface of the backfill will be plane. It can be inclined also, but the surface should be plane. Okay. Now the next assumption is the analysis is based on elementary failure. Okay. And last but not the least, the wall moves sufficiently to develop the active or passive condition. Okay. So this wall cannot be fixed. It has to be moved so that it can develop the active or passive condition. Okay. Now let's discuss about the distribution of lateral earth pressures. Okay. Distribution of lateral earth pressure. So from our earlier lectures we know that the active earth pressure, that is PA is less than the lateral earth pressure at rest condition, that is P naught, and this P naught is less than the passive earth pressure, which can be denoted by PP. Okay. So how can we draw the distribution curve for this active earth pressure or this passive earth pressure or this lateral earth pressure at rest condition? Let's see. Suppose this is a sheet pile, okay, and this sheet pile is retaining a backfill which is at the right side of this sheet pile. Okay. Now we know that when a sheet pile or a retaining structure goes towards the backfill or the soil mass, the earth pressure generated between the wall of the sheet pile and the soil mass is known as passive earth pressure, right? It means if this particular sheet pile moves this side, means moves towards the backfill or the soil mass, then the earth pressure generated between the sheet pile and the soil mass is known as the passive earth pressure. But if this sheet pile moves this side, means moves away from the backfill or the soil mass, then the earth pressure generated between the wall of sheet pile and the soil mass is known as the active earth pressure, right? So this side the PA will be there and this side PP will be there, and when this particular sheet pile is at rest condition, means when this particular sheet pile is not moving, the earth pressure generated between the this sheet pile and the backfill or the soil mass is known as the lateral earth pressure at rest condition. Okay, and since this PA is less than the P naught and P naught is less than the PP, so we may draw the distribution curve as this way. Okay, if this is the zero line, then this is PA, means the active earth pressure, this will be PP, means the passive earth pressure, and this will be the P naught, means the lateral earth pressure at rest condition. Okay, so this is the distribution curve of earth pressures, or better you can write lateral earth pressure. Okay, now when the sheet pile is at rest condition, means when the sheet pile is here, it is known as elastic equilibrium. Okay, and when the sheet pile is here, it is known as plastic equilibrium. At active stage. Okay, and when the sheet pile is here, it is known as the plastic equilibrium at passive stage. Okay, now let's discuss about the active stage. Active stage. Okay, suppose we have a sheet pile. Okay, this is the sheet pile, and this particular sheet pile is retaining a cohesionless backfill. Okay, this is the cohesionless backfill. Okay, so this is the sheet pile, and this is the cohesionless backfill, right? Now this sheet pile is at rest condition, means this sheet pile is not moving, and since this sheet pile is not moving, this cohesionless backfill is also at rest condition. Okay, now if we move the sheet pile about its base and away from backfill, then what will happen? Suppose we want to move the sheet pile about its base. Okay, this is the base of the sheet pile, and we move this sheet pile about its base and also away from the backfill. Okay, so this is the current position of this particular sheet pile. Okay, this was its initial position before the movement of the sheet pile, and this is the current situation. Okay, current position of the sheet pile. Now since we move the sheet pile about its base, the soil wedge, suppose this is the soil wedge, this is the soil wedge. Okay, the soil wedge PQR. Okay, so this soil wedge will try to rest on the sheet pile because we move this sheet pile away from the soil wedge or the backfill. Now since the soil wedge is trying to rest on the sheet pile, it will start to move downward, right? So the soil wedge will start to move in downward direction. Okay, now as a result, a resisting force against this movement of the soil wedge will act upward, means in this side. Okay, so this is, let me write it here, this is the downward movement of soil wedge PQR. Okay, and this is the resisting force against the downward movement of the soil wedge PQR. Okay, you can also write it as the shearing resisting force. Okay, is shearing resisting force. Now we may observe the movement of sheet pile which is in this direction, and the direction of the resisting force or the shearing resisting force is in this direction. Okay, so these two directions means the direction of movement of the sheet pile and the direction of the resisting force are opposite, right? So the earth pressure on the wall for soil wedge will start to decreasing, right? Let me write it here. Since the movement of sheet pile and the direction of resisting force are opposite, the earth pressure on the wall of sheet pile for soil wedge PQR will start to decrease. Okay, now if the wall movement is continued, then the resisting force will increase. Okay, and with further movement of the wall, the resisting force will reaches to its maximum value, right? What I want to mean, suppose this is the current position of this sheet pile. Now if we move this sheet pile further about its base, then what will happen? More we try to move this sheet pile away from this backfill, more the downward movement of the soil wedge and more the generation of this resisting force. So with further movement of this particular sheet pile, the shearing resisting force will start to increase, and with continued movement of the sheet pile, the resisting force or the shearing resisting force will ultimately reaches to its maximum value. And when the resisting force reaches to its maximum value, the earth pressure decreases to its minimum value. Okay, and we know the minimum value of earth pressure is nothing but the active earth pressure. Okay, so when the earth pressure is reaches to its minimum value, suppose in this position of this sheet pile the earth pressure reaches to its minimum value, then we can say at this stage of active earth pressure, soil is in its state of plastic equilibrium. Okay, and after reaching the state of plastic equilibrium, if we further move the wall, then the earth pressure will not decreases anymore, because at the plastic equilibrium the earth pressure is at its minimum value. Okay, or you can say at active stage in plastic equilibrium, earth pressure is at minimum value. So if we further move the wall, then the soil wedge will fail. Okay, so we can write that at active stage, earth pressure is at its minimum value and shearing resisting force is at its maximum value. Okay, now let's discuss about the state of stress at elastic equilibrium in active stage. Okay, so state of stress at elastic equilibrium. In active stage. Okay, so suppose we have a soil element. Okay, this is the soil element, and in this soil element the vertical stresses, that is sigma v, is acting, and also the horizontal stresses or the lateral pressures, that is sigma h, is acting. Okay, now since we are talking about the active stage, and in active stage we know that the earth pressure is at its minimum value, right? So this sigma h will be the minor principal stress. Okay, and the sigma v will be the major principal stress. Okay, so this will be sigma 3 and this will be sigma 1. Okay, this is sigma v. Okay, so now if we want to draw a Mohr circle for this state of stress, then how can we draw it? See, so this is the axis for shear stress and this is the axis for normal stress. Okay, now since the backfill is cohesionless, this is the failure envelope. Okay, this is the failure envelope. This is the angle of internal friction, and the equation for this failure envelope will be tau f is equals to sigma n tan phi. You must have studied in shearing strength of soil. Now from the state of stress we have this sigma v, which is the major principal stress, and this sigma h, which is the minor principal stress. Okay, so using this sigma v and this sigma h, let me draw a Mohr circle. Okay, so suppose this is the Mohr circle and this is sigma v and this is sigma h. So this is the Mohr circle at rest condition, means this is the Mohr circle at elastic equilibrium, right? Means before the movement of sheet pile. Now after the movement of the sheet pile, we get suppose an earth pressure of sigma h1. Okay, so after the first movement of the sheet pile, we have get an earth pressure of sigma h2. Okay, so this is sigma h2. Okay, and using this sigma h2 and this sigma v, we draw another Morse circle. Okay, now again we move the sheet pile. Okay, now we have get suppose sigma h3. Okay, so let me draw a Morse circle using that sigma h3 and sigma v. So this is sigma h3. Okay, now further moving the sheet pile, we get suppose an earth pressure of sigma h4. Okay, so while drawing the Morse circle using this sigma h4 and this sigma v, we observe that the Morse circle is touching the failure envelope. Hence, at the earth pressure of sigma h4, the soil is in critical condition. If further we move the wall away from the soil wedge, then the soil wedge will fail. Okay, as we discussed in this particular figure, right? So this is the plastic equilibrium stage. When the soil is in critical condition, means the earth pressure reaches to its minimum value. If further we move the wall, suppose we move the wall in this way away from the backfill, this soil wedge will fail. Okay, so this is the minimum value of earth pressure we have get, and if you further move the wall, the soil will fail. So this is, let me write it here, this is at plastic equilibrium. Okay, and here the sigma h4 is less than the sigma h3, sigma h3 is less than the sigma h2, and sigma h2 is less than the sigma h. Okay, and since the sigma h4 is the minimum earth pressure, so we can write the sigma h4 is the active earth pressure. Okay, now let's discuss about the state of stress at plastic equilibrium. Okay, the state of stress at plastic equilibrium. In active stage. Okay, so let me draw the state of stress. So this is the soil element. The major principal stress is sigma v, and the minor principal stress will be sigma h4, right? See here in plastic equilibrium, the minor principal stress is sigma h4, which is nothing but the active earth pressure, right? So this sigma h is nothing but the active earth pressure. Here also it will be Pa. Okay, so here we can write the sigma v is the major principal stress, that is sigma 1, and this sigma h4 or Pa is the minor principal stress. Okay, this is sigma 3. Now in shearing strength of soil, you must have studied that the sigma 1 is equals to sigma 3 tan square 45 plus 5/2 plus 2c tan square 45 degree plus 5/2. Okay, now since this analysis is for cohesionless soil, the value of this c is 0. So if this c is 0, then we will have the sigma 1 is equals to sigma 3 tan square 45 degree plus 5/2. Okay, now this sigma 1 is nothing but this sigma v. So let me write it here, sigma v and this sigma 3 is the active earth pressure. So it is PA 10 square 45 degree plus pi by 2. Okay. So from here you can write that PA is equals to sigma V into 1 by 10 square 45 degree plus pi by 2. Okay. Now see, we have got that PA is equals to 1 by 10 square 45 degree plus pi by 2 into sigma V. Now if you recall our earlier lectures, in that lectures we have discussed that the coefficient of active earth pressure Ka is equals to 1 by 10 square 45 degree pi by 2. Okay. So this value is for coefficient of active earth pressure. That is why we can write that PA is equals to Ka sigma V, where this Ka is 1 by 10 square 45 degree plus 5 by 2. Okay. So this is it for today. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the passive stage and different cases based on Rankine's lateral earth pressure theory. Till then, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you.